The holidays, a time of the year where peace on earth is emphasized. A time of the year in which joy and happiness are at the forefront. Families descend on tree farms to find the perfect tree for their home and to complement their holiday decor. The latest toys and other gift items are scooped up, wrapped in colorful paper, and put under said tree for others to enjoy. Wedged between the shopping rush, the endless holiday songs, and gatherings are traditions. We all have them, whether it's having dinner with family and close friends, going to church, volunteering at a shelter, or waiting until the last minute to finish your shopping. They are all part of what makes up the holiday season. But amongst the hustle and bustle, what about the at-home traditions of the holiday? So sit down in your favorite chair and cozy up next to the fire, or a heater, if that's what you have. Pair it with a warm beverage while we observe one of those traditions. The smell of butter cookies greets your nose as you sit in your room playing video games. A little while later, the smell of chocolate chip cookies begins to waft into your room. You decide you can't take this anymore. With the press of the start button on your controller, you pause your game and venture down to the kitchen. As you enter the kitchen, the smell of fresh baked cookies intensifies. Shifting your eyes to the counter, you spot the delectable baked goods sitting on cooling racks. Stealthily, you approach the confectionery masterpieces as your mom has her back to you. This is one time you are thanking yourself for not having shoes on, as your socks allow you to quietly glide towards the cookies. Just as you reach your destination, your mom whips around. How does she do that? How did she know I was there? Mother's intuition, I guess. Must be a real thing. Those just came out of the oven. Give them a minute and you can have one, okay? She says with a smile. I think it's been a minute now, you reply. It's been 10 seconds, Mom says flatly. What time is everybody getting here, you quiz. Our guest should be arriving in about 2 hours, so please be sure to be ready on time. By guests, she means the neighbors. This was an annual tradition. A few of the neighbors come over, with one neighbor being accompanied by an acoustic guitar. Once snacks and dinner have concluded, well, dinner anyway, because, let's be honest, do snacks ever really conclude? Ever? I don't think so. But everyone gathers in the dining room off the kitchen, and the nightly concert begins. You run upstairs and begin getting ready for the evening's festivities, completely forgetting the entire reason why you went to the kitchen in the first place. A little while later, the neighbors begin to arrive. Your friend Kara arrives with her parents. You both venture down to the basement for a night of ping-pong battles, knowing that you will both be joined by your dads, which will inevitably turn into team battles and lengthy random one-on-one contests. You know that practice will be of a great benefit to you both. While both of you lightly volley the ball around, you chat for a bit to catch up, as it's been a few weeks since you had last seen each other. What starts as a gentle volley eventually turns into faster exchanges, in which someone eventually turns it into a slam. And this, of course, leads to an actual match. The evening's ping pong matches conclude a little while later, with you and Kara beating the dad team with a 3-2 record. They insist on a rematch to tie things up, but as luck would have it, a moment later, your mom yells down that dinner is ready. With the rematch plans now thwarted, you all make your way back upstairs. As you approach the dining room, the customary question of, "So who won?" is asked. You and Kara, beaming, declare victory with a pump of your fists in the air, while Team Dad scoffs, vowing retribution. Following a dinner of ham, buttery mashed potatoes, green beans, and salad, the dishes are cleaned up as everyone hustles around to clear the table. Your mom, insisting on being stationed at the sink, cleans dishes as they arrive. Once the dishes are cleared from the table and everything is cleaned up, the guitar case is brought into the room. Shortly after, the sounds of strumming and plucking begin to emerge from the dining room as the guitar tuning has commenced. The annual concert is about to begin. This year, there are songbooks provided. In previous years, everyone would sing from memory, which made forgotten or incorrect lyrics quite humorous depending on the situation. Things were more professional this year. For over 2 hours, everyone sits around the table, singing along to the classic holiday favorites. You sit slightly outside of the circle, around the table, with a video camera that had somehow made its way into the gathering in an effort to capture the night's events. You offer to be the camera operator, as singing isn't something you really enjoy doing. As you pan the camera around, you begin to take all of this in. The guitar strumming, the singing, the happiness, the love. It all comes together, and no matter how cold it may be outside, the room is filled with a warmth and joy that you wish you could bottle up to keep forever. The evening's concert concludes with the 12 Days of Christmas, where everyone had a part. Everyone except for you, that is, because in your words, the camera operator shouldn't sing into the camera. That was met with rebuttal, but you eventually prevailed with a sigh of relief. With drinks being finished, the conversation dwindles a bit, and the yawns begin. Everyone eventually says goodnight, and you head to your room to go to bed. Your eyes fly open. How long were you even asleep for, you wonder? Absent is the slow wake-up process that normally takes place as you roll over and look at the ceiling to greet the new day ahead. Void of this morning is the rustling of your bed sheets as you slowly move your legs, feet, and hands to wake up. Excitement coursed through you the entire night, causing you to toss and turn. You look at your clock on the nightstand. It displays the time as 4:45 in the morning. You take a moment to think how, on any other given day, you would grumble at that very device as it lures you awake with the most recent popular songs or the morning DJ of your favorite station chatting about the latest trend. Is it too early, you wonder to yourself, as you resist the urge to spring from your bed? You know this is one morning where you would get a free pass from your parents if you woke them this early. You know that they are anticipating this. You often wonder if behind those grumbles and groans that you are surely to receive, is that how they really feel? Or are they secretly filled with excitement too? You lay there for a few moments longer. By moments, it translates to seconds. The clock next to your bed now shows 4:46 a.m. You bolt from your bed, abruptly tossing your blankets aside. The sheets and comforter curl up and come to a rest a few seconds later in a pile of twisted cotton. Your feet hit the carpeted floor below you, and you are practically running to your slippers that are sitting neatly next to each other on the far side of the room. You quickly slip them on. In your rush of excitement, you inadvertently try putting the first slipper on your left foot when it needs to go on your right foot. You sigh heavily as you quickly put the slipper on your right foot and then put the other slipper on the left. The sequence in which you put your slippers on out of order leaves you slightly confused for a moment. This doesn't feel right. Who puts their right shoe on first anyway? Pushing the confusion aside and now properly fitted, you pause for a moment, realizing that this footwear will most likely be noisy if you move too quickly down the hallway. That thought is hastily shoved away as you realize that you are about to barge into your parents' room. But in that moment of consideration for them, you recall a recent event where they barged into the kitchen with the exact same type of energy that you are about to display after you forgot to properly secure the lid on the blender. That mistake resulted in the kitchen being covered in a smattering of ice cream, milk, and chocolate syrup. While that was quite a mess, you still feel that they could have handled that a little bit better. You use this instance as justification for what you are about to do. You smirk a bit before moving to grab a hoodie that is hanging on your dresser. You slip the sweatshirt over your head and tug it down. You take a breath and decide it's time to proceed. As you exit your room, you glance at your clock. The display now reads 4:50 a.m. Well, it's close to 5 at least, you think to yourself as you head out into the dark hallway. The sequence that you just went through felt as though it took a lot longer than 5 minutes. As you enter the hallway, the small nightlight plugged into the wall outside your room turns on as you move in front of it. The light's dull illumination is enough for you to now see the closed door of your parents' bedroom at the end of the hallway. You quietly tiptoe your way down the hall, feeling like you're in a James Bond movie. You reach the threshold a moment later. You pause again as you begin to reach for the doorknob. There's no going back now, you think. You surprise yourself with how you resisted the urge to barge into their room as if you were being pursued by a hallway monster. You turn the knob and push the door just slightly. As soon as you put weight on the door, it creaks loudly. This causes you to cringe and hold your breath for a moment. You hold the door still and don't move. Then you decide to just open it the rest of the way. So you push the door open quickly, hoping that no additional creaks or squeals emanate from the fixture. There is a nightlight plugged into the wall on the right side of the bed. Angel, the family Labrador, raises her head from her dog bed that is placed on the floor next to your parents' bed. Her tail begins to wag and thumps the floor, You put your finger up to your mouth as if the dog will understand you and immediately cease the aforementioned thumping. This results in louder thumping as you approach the bed. It's decision time. Do you approach your mom or dad? Making the wrong choice could send you back to bed being forced to be one with your restlessness. Make the right choice, and the end result could be tearing gift wrapping paper apart in a few minutes. You decide to approach your mom's side of the bed. Somehow, in this brief moment, the thumping of the dog's tail and the creak of the door has already awoken your mom slightly. "Hi, bud," suddenly fills the room as your mom's voice is gravelly from her slumber. "Merry Christmas," she says through a yawn. Your mom tells you they will be down in a minute and to go turn some lights on. You excitedly exit the room. Angel follows behind you. You turn on the hallway light as you get close to your room. You hear your dad groan when he sees what time it is. This brings a slight smile to your face as you begin to make your way down the stairs. You reach the bottom of the stairs as Angel runs into the back of your leg. You sway a bit from the contact, but you quickly recover and begin petting the dog and getting her all riled up, tussling her ears. She playfully opens her mouth and grabs your arm. Freeing your arm from her grip, you turn on the foyer light and head to the kitchen. Reaching the kitchen, you turn on the light from the switch on the wall. It's on the outside of the entryway. The Christmas lights that your mom had strung up on the tops of the cabinets provide a warm, soft glow to the space. You make your way over to the coffee maker. Lifting the lid identifies that the coffee maker had been set up the night before with coffee grounds and water ready to be brewed. The smell of coffee grounds fills your nostrils. Just smelling it provides a slight perk to you, but not being a coffee drinker yourself, you can somehow understand why the drink is so vital to an early morning like this, with how the smell made you feel. Heaven in a cup is the phrase that you often hear about this wonderful elixir. You press the on button to begin brewing. The caffeinated bean water will be much needed as the general rule is that gifts cannot be opened until coffee is ready. Why not get a head start, you think to yourself. A short moment later, you hear footsteps as someone is descending the stairs. It's your mom. The dog runs over to greet her as she shuffles into the kitchen, rubbing her eyes, blinking for a moment to bring the room into focus. Angel is huffing at your mom, tail wagging so hard that the dog's torso is swaying back and forth. It's time for breakfast as far as the dog is concerned, and the dog has now began headbutting your mom's leg in an attempt to get their point across. You quickly run over to where the dog's food container is. Taking the dog's bowl from the holder, you fill up the bowl with a cup of food. Angel has now made her way over to you, huffing and wagging her tail at you as you put the filled bowl of food into the holder. The dog pounces on the bowl and begins chowing down on its contents. What seems like only a minute later, the dog has now finished their breakfast, still huffing and snorting as they lick their mouth. The coffee maker begins to beep, signaling that the brewing is completed. And at that moment, your dad suddenly appears in the kitchen. Your mom has disappeared into the living room meanwhile. A flick of the lighter can be heard. Glancing around the corner, you see a candle being lit. The label reads, "Sugar Cookie." Ah yes, a candle that will not help your sweet tooth. You recall the cookies in the tins that were baked yesterday. You know, the ones that you never tried? But now is not the time for that. Gifts are waiting. Your mom makes her way back into the kitchen to pour a cup of coffee. Your dad has already started on one, adding some milk and sugar to the mug. Your mom goes to the refrigerator and chooses a flavored creamer to add to her coffee. Gingerbread is the selection for today. With steaming cups of coffee in hand, they make their way out to the living room. Remaining in the kitchen, you decide that you need to have some hot chocolate to celebrate the occasion. Look at all these gifts. Someone is spoiled, your dad says as you are finishing up the hot chocolate. You smile as you exit the kitchen, hot cocoa in hand, to see the mountain of gifts. Various designs adorn the wrapped items. Santa, a snowman waving, and candy canes were the wrapping paper options chosen this year. All gifts are accompanied by gold, green, and red bows on top. Your stocking is also filled to the top with a variety of candies. The aroma of sugar cookies is beginning to envelop the living room. Christmas music is now floating around the room as the train circles the lit Christmas tree. Secretly, you are hoping for the newest video game console this year. The wrapped items are scanned intently to see if it can be determined if one of them could contain the sought-after item. Well, buddy, your dad pipes in, breaking your concentration. You got us up this early. Let's go ahead and get started. That was all the prompting needed. Tearing into the gift-wrapped items, in a matter of minutes, a new basketball, ping-pong paddles, and board games have all been revealed. In a pile of torn wrapping paper sits one more item. Looking at it, you see the label has your name on it. Lifting it, it feels as though it has some weight to it. Could this be the one? After removing the bow, you tear the folded portion of the paper from the top right corner of the box. Removing the rest of the paper with one swift pull exposes the latest video game system. Jumping up excitedly from the newly discovered present, you run over to your parents and give them a big hug. This gets the dog excited, and as you turn around, the Labrador nips your leg in excitement. Snorting and swaying, the dog wants to join in on the fun. Tussling her ears again, you quickly pet her for a moment. Yes, the toy is here, your dad proclaims. He gave himself that nickname years ago, as every year he is asked to either play video games, or a new board game, or set up a new toy that is received as a gift. Following your gifts being opened, your parents open their gifts given to them by you and to each other. Once the gift opening has concluded, a family hug and Merry Christmas wishes are delved out. Once the wrapping paper has been collected and placed in a garbage bag, the new gifts are stacked neatly under the tree. Well, except for the new video game console. That was taken to your room and hooked up to the TV immediately. Once the video game system has been hooked up and thoroughly tested, to ensure that it works, you return to the living room. It is now daylight out. Christmas music is still playing in the living room, but the candle that was previously lit has been extinguished. Your dad is sitting in his recliner reading the newspaper. Your mom is in the kitchen making breakfast, and the smell of pancakes and bacon are present as you walk into the kitchen for another cup of hot cocoa. Emerging from the kitchen, with the hot cup of cocoa in hand minutes later, you sit down on the couch and look out the window. There had been snow earlier in the week which had not melted, and it had begun to snow slightly in the early morning hours today. A white Christmas, something that you always hoped for each year. As you look out the window and focus on the falling snow, the Christmas songs fade into the background. As you sit in the warmth of your home and the embrace of your couch, you wish this time of the year could be all year long. The warmth from the love and joy of others around you, the peace and happiness of total strangers, the magical feeling of the season cannot be understated. As you sip on your cocoa, thoughts of what your future traditions will be start to creep into your mind. Not wanting to let this moment in time get lost to the unknown future, you quickly focus once more on the present day. You know deep down it won't always be like this, but the appreciation you have for those who helped shape this particular holiday and previous ones is too great for words. It will be something that, thanks to them, you can carry with you forever. Well, that concludes our observance into a homey Christmas holiday tradition. Traditions like that are what make the holidays what they truly are. My hope for all of you is that you have traditions that give you that kind of warmth and joy. And I hope that this story may allow you to reflect on past holiday memories that bring a smile to your face. Whether you are continuing previous traditions this season, or perhaps even starting new traditions, my wish for all of you is that you enjoy this holiday season. Take it all in, slow down a bit, and enjoy it. If you like this, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy the content of this channel, please feel free to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Lastly, I would just like to say that I hope that all of you have a joyous and wonderful holiday season. My name is Jers. Take care. The music used in today's episode has been written and produced by Kevin MacLeod. The music can be found at incompetech.filmmusic.io. The sound effects used in today's episode can be found at freesound.org.